Hey there, welcome to this video on how to fix your Sega Dreamcast. If you're experiencing the reset issue, which I have been, then this is going to help you, I do believe. I'd like to say before we start though, a complete disclaimer. Obviously you do this at your own risk. If you burn your house down, if you electrocute yourself, if you break your Dreamcast, it's not my fault, okay? This is just my experience of what I did as a DIY fix for my two Dreamcasts. And I say two Dreamcasts because I had one that developed this fault, and then I bought another one hoping that that would be great, but that also then developed the same fault. And that fault is, you'll be playing the game for about, say, 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden the Dreamcast screen will go black, and it will just reboot back to the BIOS screen with the 4 menu options. And then you'll play maybe for another 10 minutes, and then it will do it again. And it'll get successively faster, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, until it just doesn't work. With mine, it said there was a disk read error. Now, I appreciate there is such thing as your Dreamcast laser actually getting too old and stopping working. That is a thing that happens, and apparently you can do something where you turn a screw and it makes the laser just a tad brighter, and that can bring your Dreamcast back to life for a while. I don't think this is to do with the laser itself, the problem that I'm experiencing, because it doesn't stop reading the disk, it just resets. So this is to do with the power supply unit. So what we're going to do today is take apart the Dreamcast. Having done this once, it already works. That's why I'm making this video, is because I did it for one of mine and it worked. So I'm going to show you taking apart my second one, and I'm going to try and fix that one as well. So let's have a look inside this Dreamcast. So here's your Dreamcast. It's this is a PAL Dreamcast, that's why it's got the blue swirl on the top here. Right, so the first thing we need to do is to take out the screws from the back. Now there are 4 of them. They are located here, 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 you can see that, and also there's one inside the modem expansion port. So probably hasn't been done before, so you have to push quite hard to get a connection with the screw, and then that should come out. There we are, 1. There's only 6 screws in total that you'll need to remove, so, and 2 of them are different colour, so that's okay. There we go, that's 2, keep them together. Obviously make sure your Dreamcast is not plugged in when you do this. Here we go, so in here, look, this is underneath the, inside the modem, there's 1 more screw, so take that one out. Right, so off comes the lid. Here it comes, just like that, the way it goes, and there's the Dreamcast underneath. Right, now what have we got in here? You notice down here, that's the power supply, so this is the power supply unit. Now all of this has 2 screws holding it in place. There's one just down here, and there's one just down there. So we're going to remove those. Again, keep them with the, there we got it. Keep it with the other ones. These 2 are silver. Now, they don't seem to be magnetic. I don't know if that's because my screwdriver is not magnetic, but be careful that you don't lose it underneath. It shouldn't be too bad because you're going to take this bit off anyway. Okay, so the power supply unit should now come free. If you see here, these pins, that's where the problem actually lies. So we're going to lift up the power supply unit around here, but first we're going to do this end because the bit where the plug goes in is actually quite snugly fit. So you just pull it upwards like that, see? There we go. Right, now I find a second screwdriver with a flat head. I just use that to get under here on one side, just to neatly prise it up while I put my finger under there. There we go, it's come away. And that stays attached, so don't break it. See, it's held in place by a little umbilical cord. So we're not going to break that. So this is inside the Dreamcast. Now the problem is these little babies here. Now, I'm just having a look. I don't know if you can see. There's a little bit of corrosion on these pins. There are 6 pins in all, and there's a little corrosion just on this side here. Now, you can get some alcohol and give that a rub, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. So here we go. On this swab, I've now got some alcohol, which I'm just going to rub on the contacts just here. There we go. So I'm just going to rub that on there. It only actually needs to be on one side. And I can actually see the dirt coming off, which is great. Yeah, you see that? Just a little bit of dirt. So in theory, this corrosion is stopping the power getting through as much as it should, and so the console thinks it's not got enough power, so it switches off. Then it thinks, actually I have got enough power, and turns back on again. Okay, so that should be that. Now what I'm going to do, if I just tilt you this way, there we go. What I'm going to do now is to put this back in. And for that, this needs to go in here, there we go. Perfect. Lovely, right. There we go, like this. So this is currently loose now. The bit with the power supply here squeezes on easily. Once you get it in the right place, of course, there we go. Just like that, that's in. But at the other end, this is where all the problems lie, if I just show you. This bit here needs to be pushed down so that the pins come up through the gaps. Now what I do, which probably isn't a very scientific way of doing it, is to do what I do with my old Game Gear cartridges, and that is with the power off, push it on and off and on and off and on and off, just a few times over to get that connection freshened up. So I push down, and out they come, and then I pull it up, give it a waggle. It's not very scientific, as I say, but there we go. And that should be it. It's reseated back in, so it's just a case of putting the screws back in. Okay, so the lid goes back on. There it is, looking good. Put the screws back in. And last one under here with the modem. Last one goes in there. Just like that. Very satisfying. And then of course the modem just goes back on. And there we go, Dreamcast is good. So I'm going to load it up now, see if it works. And it does indeed work. So I've got to set the date. And I'm going to put a disc in and try it. It works. I'm very pleased to say that it did indeed work. I played the game for about half an hour, and then I left it on running through the demo cycle while I went into town, and I came back about an hour and a half later and it was still working. So my Dreamcast has never run for 2 hours in the past few years. It just wouldn't do that. So I'm pretty sure it's worked. Obviously, if it does stop working again, if it redevelops the fault, I'll let you know. But with my first Dreamcast this morning, I was able to play it for I played 4 different games, well over an hour, and I say this one is running for about 2 hours. So I think they're both fixed. Either way, it's more gameplay than I've got out of my Dreamcast for several years, so I'm really happy. It didn't cost me anything except for the alcohol and cotton swabs, as you see, but I think it will help you too. So be very careful, try not to break your Dreamcast, please try not to hurt yourself, and yeah, happy gaming. Thanks for watching, take care.